Yep.
Linux, would you mind playing again? What I've been talking about? Sure. Thank you. I appreciate this. I only have 2 hands.
That's what I do. I live for this.
I live for this.
You know I love aliens.
So can you tell me about Threshold?
Yeah, so Threshold is a game we created last year at the Global Game Jam, 2014. And there was a team of 7 of us, and we came out with this idea. And afterwards, we got a lot of good feedback about it. So we were like, let's take this to the next step and actually make a game out of it. 4 of us stayed on to keep working on it, and we've been working on it for the last year. In the game, you play this little gnomish wizard dude, and depending on which direction you're facing, the world changes. It's either summertime in the past or wintertime in the future, and you have to be able to use those 2 times to kind of navigate yourself through the world. As you can see, sometimes the level will change based on what season it is.
Yeah, when he looked right, then
When you look right, the summertime stuff appears, and when you look left, the wintertime appears.
But I guess the question is, how will he, if he has to look in the direction he's jumping in, how can he look in that direction? And then how can he look to the left, but then looking to the right is what activates the platform?
Right, so that's the puzzle. That's definitely the puzzle. That's like the mechanic, that's like the base mechanic we're using to kind of get you thinking about how to solve the puzzle.
Is there a double jump?
There is no double jump, but we are currently working on the character controller so that the way it exists in this particular build is not the way it's going to exist in the next build. It's going to be a little bit more finesse. You're going to have a lot more control over how the player jumps, and we might put a double jump in. I'm not sure yet. We're going to see if it's fun or not.
So, narratively, what's the backdrop? Why does this wizard have the ability to look left or right and change the season?
He's a little wizard, and he's kind of being taught a lesson about how he thinks about the past and the future, and he's kind of trapped in this in between state. So he can still use his magic to kind of change the seat which one he's in, but he can't be in the present yet. So he's trying to find his way back to that scenario where he can be amongst his own little hood kinds. Oh, you made it.
So the game has a deep message about being in a liminal moment, while figuring out which direction is looking forward and not looking to the past.
Exactly. So that's a little bit of the meta game. Is like we're kind of like we're taking a little of a Buddhist. We were talking about we were kind of like, what is our story? And we came up with this idea that like when you look into the past and you're kind of like seeing the fun things and the happy times, and then you're worried about like what's going to happen in the future, the cold, the icy thing that you don't like. We kind of want to like give those two that dichotomy and like have you think about it and use that to solve the puzzle, and think about like, oh well, I'm really playing right now in the present, and that's what I really should be concerned about, not these 2 edge cases of like the far past and the far future. We should be in the present, living in the present.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
No, that does make sense.
That was the story we came up with when we were originally designing the game. The Game Jam had a theme. The theme was you don't see the world as it is, only as you are. So we thought that fit the best as far as the story we could provide with our character.
And your role was you were a designer, an artist, a programmer?
I'm a programmer, but for this particular project, I'm project lead. Okay. So I do a little bit of everything, anywhere from production to art direction, helping out with technical design and level design. But Mila is our artist. Christian here was our main programmer, and we have another guy who just works on level design.
Looks like fun.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to checking it out and being delightfully frustrated when I can't do something right the first time.
Awesome. Hints are $1 a call.
Okay. Wow. Is that cheaper than Nintendo used to be? I don't know.
Times have changed.
You weren't one of those counselors for the NES, were you? It's like a fun job as a kid, but like when you get older.
Yeah, you call them up and they're like,
that job.
well, have you tried this?
Try taking the game out of the system and not playing it again.
This is the last level we have for this build, so if you can solve this one, you've completed the MAGfest build.
You have to get that key though.
Well, it's the other thing we want to do with the game is we want the player to find their own solutions sometimes. So it doesn't matter what order he gets the keys in. He can get them in whatever order he wants.
And he can hold more than one at the same time.
Actually, no. You can only hold one key at a time. And some keys are different than others. And I'm sure he's figured that out.
Oh, he's figured it out.
I'm not going to give it away, but...
He's figured it out. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.